Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another video here we're trying to repair a computer. And as you can see, the house is full of computers. I got boxes under the desk, and I mean, in the basement, I am loaded. Thank you so much for trusting in my Salazar Diagnostics. I really appreciate all the business that you guys have sent me, and I try to share as much as information as possible and be as crystal as possible too with all the customers. And that's what I try to record all those videos about before and after, especially if it's a big repair or so. All right, coming back to the repair that I have here, or the test. This is a 2006 Chevy Silverado 6.6 liters diesel. This was sent to me by Bobby Harlow here in Virginia. He's chasing two codes, P0335 and P0341. One for the cam sensor and another one for the crankshaft position sensor. As far as I last conversation, Bobby told me that the one he's really chasing is the CKP. The other one was there, but he put a crankshaft position sensor and no longer happens. So, all right, guys, as you can see, I got the information in here. So I'm going to be using this red box so we can read, or you guys can follow me a little easier. If I can make this box a little smaller, give me just 1 second. Maybe it's only in this corner. Yeah. All right, so just follow that. All right, so we have P0335. That's one of the codes that he's trying to work with. It is talking about sensor circuit, not about sensor performance, which should be 30336 or P0336, which is more about when you have circuit, okay, as it says in the circuit. So if we follow this diagnostic fault information, so circuit, what is part of the circuit? Okay, the final reference voltage, the CKP signal, and the CKP load reference, right? So if it's short to ground, these are the faults that should appear. So if it's short to ground, we should not have the P0335. If it's short to ground on the sensor signal, then yes. If we are open or high resistance on the fiber reference, we can have the 335. If it's on the signal, we can have the 335, or if it's low in the low reference, so 335. So open or high resistance on any of the three wires of the sensor can trigger that same fault code. Short to voltage on the firmware reference or in the sensor signal can trigger again that same fault and this other fault that we got here. But signal performance will not. So signal performance will trigger P0336. So what is signal performance? Signal performance is a difference on the signal. So if the CKP, let's say, has to have 55 teeth minus 1, and the computer sees 54 teeth minus 2, okay, that's a signal performance. Or long and a short, something is changing that signal, the performance of that signal, and the computer doesn't like it. Is not too high, is it too low? Remember, this is because this is engineers uh, trying to help us understand the circuitry and how to check, but this is not a bulletproof test, even though this is a good test. But when you have a circuit performance, it can be also that the signal is not reaching the full fiber reference, and it can be that it's partially short or it's partially open. So this is where these flowcharts don't apply to a problem in the real life. So this is a very controlled environment flowchart that can definitely help you, but please take it as is, right? And then so we can, I'm not that familiar with this truck to say, okay, this is like a Bible, like the Ten Commandments, this is going to happen like this. So I'm not sure. If you work on these trucks more and you can please share with us in the comments, yes, Mike, or all, that P0336 never happens, and I have never seen it when the fiber reference is shorted, when the sensor is shorted, or the signal is shorted, or open only when we have damaged stone ring or on the crankshaft or etc. Right? So we can all learn and get familiar because this is what I like about the community, right? To check all that. So if we keep reading down, we can also see the conditions in order for that fault code to happen. The engine is cranking or running. The crankshaft position sensor signal is present. So in order for this fault to happen, the crankshaft position sensor should be present and good. For the other one, in the other hand, the P0336 engine is cranking or running. DTC P03 runs continuously when the above condition is met. All right, so it is a little bit funny that they're saying that if we have these conditions, it will set also the P0336. And this is where the flowcharts sometimes are, uh, for me, a little bit of a waste of time. But it's also always important to read it and try to gather the data that you need for your testings. Because if you know how many teeth, then you can start looking for that, like in right here. Right here, let me put the box in here as well, and that we can see, or you guys can see where I am. So, because if we see this circuit description, I got to put the box in the middle so we can see more. The Hall effects crankshaft position sensor signal indicates the crankshaft speed and position. There are 57 teeth on the front of the crankshaft sprocket plus a sink gap, right? So that's a very important information. Now you know that you're looking for a 57 teeth in a gap. If you don't see that, okay, well, now something is going on. Do we have a sensor that is not reading properly, or we have a problem in the turn ring and use a borescope and go there? All right, going into the camshaft position sensor, the P0341. This one is on the performance side. Again, these are the faults he gave me. So you can see this is his writing. Actually, yes, that's his writing. The telephone number is in here. I shouldn't have not put that in here. All right, this is the information I'm covering his phone number in there because I put him in there just in case I needed to call him. But you can see he has those two fault codes. But if I remember correctly, he told me the P0341, it was no longer happening. I will call him again, even though in my findings, I am not really looking into anything damaged in the computer, and this is what I'm going next. All right, so for the test that I'm doing on the computer, I'm going to check those two sensors, powers and grounds, and the signal to make sure that we are not missing a 5-volt reference or something is burned on that circuit over to the 5-volt reference or in the sensor ground or in the signals reaching to the microprocessor, because things that I want to express and let you all learn is sensors, but the sensor signal will go straight to the digital to analog converter. On these new computers, I'm talking about new 2003 and up, the analog to digital converter is built into the microprocessor. So they try to make this very robust, especially Bosch, with protections. And what is a protections? Resistance in circuit that will, if in case it's a short to power or a short to ground, it will just take it to ground and then protect as much as possible the signal. Again, if it's something that shorts to a coil or an injector that goes into 400 volts, there is nothing you can do. It will cook the computer. And that is something we don't know because we don't have the vehicle. So all I can see and all I can look is for burr components, opens in the path, corrosion, especially with signal like this, like cam and crankshaft position sensor signals. This is an intermittent. This is not a no start condition. The car runs. He got just get that fault and he cannot get rid of that fault. But the car runs. All right, so what I'm checking in here, as you can see in the screen, is we got load reference. If I go, let me go in order. So we got the camshaft position sensor signal. We got in pin 1. We got the camshaft position CMP sensor signal, which is pin 56. And I'm going to show you that in the computer in a second. Then on pin 3, dark blue, We got the fiber reference. If we follow right here, I'm in the middle of the upper, sorry, not in the middle, in the upper corner of the screen. I'm trying to move my mouse, and can I use that same thing again in here? Maybe I can. Yes, I'm gonna use just a smaller one so you can follow me where I am. So, but yeah, so we are here in pin 41, and then the other one goes to pin 34 on the next page, and we can follow that, because it's already. Um, Let me see what was saying in here. So 34 to 37 is a brown color wire, and then 37 goes into the same connector on the computer, C1. So this computer, I don't know if I mentioned it before, it has two connectors, C1 with 96 pins and C2 with 58 pins. All right, so we can see that that brown cable is a low reference. Thanks to Identifix, and most definitely in the original we will have this all marked too as well. But what now with since we're here, we can see that the camshaft position sensor, sorry, the crankshaft position sensor signal is in pin 79. And then again, if we move, this goes into 28, sorry, 22. So we're moving into the next. So all I really mark in here with, this is the nice about the color wire diagrams, is where the sensor was located, pins 1, 2, and 3. Even though I don't really need the sensors, I just needed to know my connections on the computer to check uh, fiber reference, sensor grounds, and sensor signals. So I'm going to scroll up. Sorry that I'm going a little fast. Okay, right now I have two the Gator clipped wires into pin 41 and 40. All right, now I'm going to use the camera on the microscope. So let me bring this down. And that's the address. If you want to ship something to me, you can just go onto my website and you will be able to see the shipping address right there. You can click on Let's Talk, Let's Chat, or you can just contact. This will open your email browser. That is my cell phone number in there if you guys need to call me for a consultation. I also offer diagnostic services that you can pay by hour. Okay, so I'm going to move now to the microscope. Let's turn this off, and I think if I remember correctly, now the microscope is on full screen. I don't need to move nothing else, but all right, so what I'm doing is, and I'm going to show you this, it's going to be a little hard with one hand, but I'm going to do it like this. So what you want to do is use your sorry, not microscope, my multimeter in continuity. So I already have that ready to go. If I touch here, we can see that we got continuity. The other thing that I want to do, and I'm going to bring the camera here, is to show that some people think that, fiber reference are all share or not share, that you will know when you are working on the computer. So let me just see if I can see that in here. So these will be pin 41 and 40 right here. But if we see right here, so this pin touches here and here. So these four pins are all the same fiber reference. Going back to, and you will not be able to see that because I obviously right now on the microscope only. This will be, well, it doesn't say fiber reference 2 or 3 or nothing. It says just fiber reference. Let me see if I have any fiber reference, at least on these non-original color wire diagrams. All those pins just say fiber reference, no fiber reference 1, 2, 3, or 4. But I think I have the original ones. So let me go over to his folder because I have, yes. And this is why it's so important to get also the original wire diagrams, because I'm going to just point my phone to that because right now you're looking at the microscope, but you see when it says fiber reference 1, fiber reference 2, and fiber reference 3. So we got a mix on connector C2, C1. So on C1, you're going to have pins 12, 13, and 37. And then on connector C2, pins 15. And pin 41 and 40 supposedly be only those two, but we can definitely see that that is not true because I can see the other ones and they're not I mean touching because I can see 38, 39. Let me just go where's my crown? So again, this is pin 40 and 41 and you can see that they're touching each other. And if we touch in here, we have four pins on this computer sharing that. If I follow that, I'm going to try to get, sometimes I cannot see, sorry, the microscope doesn't really show everything that I can see when I'm looking in the microscope. Sorry, the camera of the microscope doesn't show exactly what I can see from the microscope. So I'm going to try to move you guys to that location. So let me put the screen so I know where you guys at. See how much I do to give you the best information possible. So I'm going to move the camera just so you can see where I'm going to be. At the same time, I'm going to touch again here. So you guys can see right here the continuity. If I go there here, is it this one? Yeah, this one. So this is connector C2, and this is pins 48 and 40, sorry, 40 and 41. Something else is also in connector C2 that shares that same fiber reference. And that is not, even in the original diagrams, nothing tells me of that. So that's why sometimes it can be misleading when you get information that only talks, because if you see fiber reference 1 says that it's only in pins C1, 40, and 41. So this is supposedly no other sensor should be having this same fiber reference. And looking at that, unless it's an empty pin in the connector, which without having a car, I don't have it here. So I'm not sure. I will definitely be looking in to see where is this pin going or what number is this pin to really give you the answer on that. But yeah, that's how I check. All right, so having my multimeter connected into that, I go over to, let me put you again in the screen so I know what I'm showing to you. So I keep my multimeter connected to that sensor signal, and then I go over the board and I try to, like usually these are fiber reference. Oh, right there. See? I go like this. That was a very lucky shot that I touched in there. But these are usually drivers, pre-drivers, CAN bus, and in this case, 5-volt reference. Look right there. And this is 5-volt reference 1. We can definitely see that in here. So these are, I will probably say that yes, this computer has 3 different 5-volt reference. Because I can see right here, if this is 1, right? This is most definitely another one, and then that's the third 5-volt reference. So this is a 5-volt regulator built into this same IC, which is probably going to be the fuel pump relay and some other things. All right, so this is probably enough so you can guys understand what I'm going in here. Now the camshaft position sensor signals, and again, this is a test that I performed completely on this computer. So let me snap the display as microscope capture and let's go back to this because I want to show you what I did. All right, so this is that side of the board. I took the time with the same thing, putting my multimeter and continuity and finding where those signals are coming. And yes, that is time consuming. Some people is like, hey, Mike, where are you getting all these wire diagrams from the inside of the computer? I make it. It's hours and hours of my life that I spent to do that. And yes, I don't share those. I share a lot of information like this in here. You will be able to see. I take a high resolution picture. These ones, the iPhone 14 and the 15s are really, really good to take pictures. And you can see the detail even when I'm zooming in a lot. So as you can see on the right, I put a triangle with a purple is the CMP signal on pin 56, and then the CKP on pin 79. And I was able to follow. There is no blockage, no break on the line all the way to here. Then the capacitors all now right here. What we can see here, all these holes is right here. This area, you see that 488 is right there, right? So what is under here? The microprocessor. So the signals are intact. There is no burn, no resistance damage, no capacitor damage on those two signals all the way to the microprocessor. So we have two choices in here, or two options. One, reflash the module and retry, because the only thing that you can do is try it on the truck. This is not something I can reproduce in here. It's impossible, right? And or if that doesn't change, you get the same problems and you have no voltage or no other sensor shorted, because by looking at this, again, these original diagrams that can fool somebody and make you think that 40 and 41 are the only two sensors, which are, if you can see right here, pin 40 and pin 41. Guess what are those? Crankshaft position sensor and camshaft position sensor. So those two are sharing the same fiber reference. Those two are sharing the same sensor ground, which realistically you can see, and this is not a lie. All the sensor grounds are shared internally in the computer. But they're saying that there is three different fiber reference, and the fiber reference ones only have two sensors, unless there is a page two, and no, it's not a page two. They know. This is all I can see from here. So I know this is a little longer video, but I want to share this because it's important information, and also to share this to the customer, because yes, I took the time, because it's a little hard to see on this photo, because it's obviously, as you can see, I'm far away from, but then when I zoom in, I can still see those are 10 kilo ohm resistors in here. So you get to see this is a constant ground in here. So what it does is, in case it's a short on the signal, it will go to ground. And then this is probably, this other side is a 5 volts supply by the, the computer. And then again, the signal is the one, because this is a Hall effect sensor. So what is going to do the Hall effect sensor? Pull the 5 volt reference down to ground, but that goes through a resistor. So let me just make sure I'm saying this correct, because this is protection. No, this is protection and protection, because then the signal will continue here, and then it will follow these lines, and then boom, it will go through a resistor, another resistor. So this is again, this actually, disregard what I just said before. I'm going a little fast, but what we have in here is a filter in case the signal gets high, or so this will prevent that from happening, and will keep the signal as clean as possible. And then this is the one that will not allow it to go through. And then we have a diode and our capacitors. We have capacitors and diodes as a protection, again, if it goes too high or whatever, right? And then down into the microprocessor, which is again this area here. So I'm going to just find what the other line is connected, if it's populated on the computer, and then give my results to Bobby Harlow here in Virginia. I don't find anything burned or any damage on your computer. As you can see, I took it completely out of the case. This is for those who wants to know what the number on that computer is. Um, Again, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.